Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the concept, not memorizing it. Because I think one problem that I had, because I'm kind of perfectionist, that's the reason why I've been procrastinating the CPA because I was trying to find the perfect situation for
Mm-hmm.
me. And then I realized I will never have that perfect situation.
Yeah.
So I just I just had to find my way in order to study. And then I had a boss. I asked him about, can you advise me on what to do? Because I really need to do this CPA, but I'm also working long hours every day. And he just said, just don't overstudy.
Yeah.
Do not overstudy. And then, yeah, that's what I didn't overstudy.
Welcome to episode 110 of the CPA Exam Experience podcast from SuperfastCPA. I'm Nate, and in today's interview, you're going to hear me talk with Ivy. So Ivy is originally from the Philippines, and she is a Philippine CPA. And then at some point, she came to the U.S. on a work exchange program. And a few years into that, her firm told her, you need to get the U.S. CPA before you can really move on in our company. So she started that process. So in this interview, you're going to hear her whole story about how that all worked. And of course, she came from a completely different foundation, being from the Philippines as far as, accounting and tax rules. So she wasn't only learning the CPA exam content, which people from the US struggle with really badly, obviously. She had a whole different foundation and then had to figure out how to pass the US CPA exams on top of that. So in this interview, you're going to hear how she did that, what wasn't working when she started, the different struggles she had, and how she figured out a study process that helped her learn the material quickly enough to pass the different exams. Just her whole journey of figuring out how to pass the CPA exams and what she learned along the way. So before we get into this interview, I want to mention two things. First, our free study training webinars. That's the best place for you to start if you've never watched one of those. We will show you in 1 hour how to dramatically transform your study process and make it highly efficient and highly effective. And you will hear Ivy mention that, like pretty much everyone else on these interviews, that's the first thing that she came across from SuperfastCPA. So to sign up for one of those free webinars, you can go to the link down in the description of this episode or just go to our homepage at SuperfastCPA.com and you'll see it. It's the main thing on the homepage. The next thing is our free podcast giveaway. So each month we give away 3 pairs of Powerbeat Pro headphones to 3 people who have entered the giveaway. It's just your name and email. And again, that link will be down in the description of this episode as well. So with that out of the way, let's get into the interview with Ivy. How'd you get into studying for the CPA exams? Did you do a master's in accounting and then you just knew that was the next step?
Actually, I wanted to share a brief background about myself.
Yeah, let's do that. That's great.
I moved here to the United States 5 years ago. I'm originally from the Philippines, and then I worked in EY Philippines for about 6 busy seasons, and I got an opportunity to work in Chicago, and I grabbed that opportunity. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And then since we're using the PFRS, my license will not be acceptable here in the United States, and that's the reason I had to do the CPA again here in the United States.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I really did not immediately work on my CPA thing because I think I just needed a break I just got out from EY and then started working here, and it's really a big change for me. But then at some point I realized I really need to do it because I will not be moving forward if I wasn't a CPA here. But it wasn't really an easy journey for me because I was adjusting here from one country to another, and then I'm still adjusting at my work. though I'm very experienced, it's really different when you're like working on a different country now. So that was 2017, and it took me 2021 when I really started doing it. And
Yeah.
and I happened to discover the SuperfastCPA, I think from one of the YouTube, there's a commercial thing there. And then I saw, okay, because there's a free seminar, I think.
Yeah,
And
the
then
free webinar.
Yeah, and I watched that, and I think I followed the advice there. You said that it's better to study in the morning, especially now I'm working, I'm very busy. And because when you study in the morning, whatever happens during the day, at least you need time for studying.
Yeah.
So that really helped a lot. That was like my style. I always tell that to the other staff who was also struggling, that it's better to start in the morning and then start working. And then even though you're really tired at the end of the day, at least you already studied.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a huge thing. It's and it sounds so obvious as soon as you hear it. You're like, okay, that makes so much more sense to do it in the morning before the whole day starts and you start getting emails and texts and everything. And like you said, no matter what else happens during the day, you've already done it. So it's locked in, it's already done.
Yeah. I think one reason also that really pushed me is because my boss, the managers and the partners are really like, Ivy, we cannot promote you if you're not a CPA. I know you're technically good. It's just the policy is you need to be a CPA. And I respect that policy actually. And then I know I have to do it. It's just not, this is just not a test of your knowledge. It's like perseverance. You're motivated.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Right.
you have to be motivated. And it's really not the same when I was way back in the Philippines, like 10 years ago. I graduated 2011. I started right away with the review school. And that was a different journey for me. It was easier for me because I just graduated and the study is still fresh on my mind. And I don't have to worry about work. But that journey that I had here is different. I was working. I had a lot of responsibilities. I'm on a different country, and then I have to study. So that's like so much to take. But
Right. And even for people, here that grew up in the United States, the CPA exams, it's very different than anything like from college. It's just there's so much content that's tested, and in college, you show up. There's like a professor kind of guides you through the material for the semester because you just show up 2 or 3 times a week. And then the CPA exams is a harder exam than anything you've done in college, and you're completely on your own to study for it. And it's just this mountain of information you have to learn. And so, yeah, it's just a really hard thing. It's just a totally different type of a thing.
That's true because when I was studying my CPA in the Philippines, I was in a review school and there's a professor, instructor. And now here I studied on my own.
Yeah.
So you just have to be disciplined.
Yeah, definitely. And that's arguably, that's kind of the hardest part. So when you started studying for the CPA, what happened exactly? Did the firm buy you a review course and you just started going through the lessons, or when you first started studying, what was it like?
So the firm doesn't pay the study materials for you. So I personally paid for whatever materials that I use, including the SuperfastCPA. I invested on that. So I already have the review materials like in 2018 already.
Okay.
But I wasn't really focused. I wasn't really motivated until pandemic hit. You were just staying at home. And then I attempted to study. That was 2020, but then it was also stressful at work. It's pandemic. I have to go to field work, and you're worried about this pandemic thing. But I already scheduled my exam. I had an exam in 2018, but I didn't take it. So that was I wasted my money there.
Yeah.
So by 2020 July, I like I paid my NTS. I have a schedule, and I selected FAR and audit to start with. Way back, I only selected FAR to study, but I think that I really did not do it. It's just,
Yeah.
so I had a friend. She said, if because I'm having a hard time committing to it, so why not start with audit? Because I've been in the industry for a decade now. So why not start with something that you know you're really good at, and they said it's easy because it's audit. So I started. So I think that was around 2021 already, and my NTS is expiring on April. So I think around February. Okay, I have to do it. And then I have a book actually, and then I read some chapters there because I have to refresh about audit opinions and technical stuff there. But in terms of, I think I skipped a chapter there because I already know that process because of my experience. And then I also use a lot of the SuperfastCPA. CPA. I had that on my phone and also on my iPad. So every time I have like a waiting time, like waiting for someone to, waiting for the Uber, waiting for, at the doctor's appointment, waiting. While on the waiting room, instead of like doing Facebook or Instagram, I open the app. I try to answer as many multiples that I could, and then I also read the notes. There's a notes in the SuperfastCPA. I read that, so that really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And then in the bus, before I was living in the city, I always took the bus. I always have to make sure I listen to the lessons.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing. It's, it's just convenient, right? To like use your phone to study, because there's a lot of time each day, like travel time, waiting. There's a lot of waiting, just whether it's the grocery store or, like you said, the doctor's office, waiting for an Uber. Just having study tools on your phone just makes it easy to just fit in a lot of extra study time. Go ahead.
So I think, and I didn't take my FAR exam, so that expired again. But I think that was April. I think around May, I knew that I passed the audit, because
Okay.
I am very confident about it, because the first time I sat on the exam and took audit, it was really, maybe I was just overthinking about it, but when you're there, it's like, oh, I can do this. Why did I take a lot of time studying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to think as an auditor. And then I applied again for the next 3 subjects. I said I'm gonna schedule the next 3 subjects, so I will be motivated, I will be more disciplined. So I decided to take PEC next, because some of the lessons in audit are somehow related to BEC. So, but I didn't take the exam until September, because again, I was busy again at work, and then that was the time when I also got busy trying to look for a house. So during weekend, instead of studying, I did the finding a house for me, because I didn't want to stay in my apartment. During the pandemic, you were always staying in an apartment, and there's a lot of noise that you don't want anymore, because it's distracting me and my work and my study. So I think by September, I took the BEC exam. I moved to my new house here in the suburbs. And then the following month, I checked the score, and and I wasn't really expecting, because BEC was, you never know what to expect. I don't know if I've really passed or failed, but I just did my best. And then when I check at the website, and then I saw my score, and then oh my God, I passed. I even like shouted, because I was at field work. I was in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then I was in the lobby, and then someone looked at me like, "What's happening?" Oh, I passed my.
That's
And then
funny.
I told to my staff, "Oh, I passed my exam. Oh, congrats. Okay, I have 2 more." And then, so that was October when I knew I passed. And then, okay, I gotta work on the 2 more subjects, because I was planning to finish it within 2021.
Oh, okay.
But due to work, and sometimes it's just really hard to move forward. But I know I just have to keep going. I know I'm not that fast, but I just know that I have to keep moving. I know what I will finish this journey at one point. So I took the next subject, FAR. That was December 31. That was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So I was in the testing center, everyone celebrating, and I was just there. I had to do work on my CPA thing. So at this point, I was traveling from the suburbs to the city, because that's where my office is located.
Mm-hmm.
So during those travel time, I only play the SuperfastCPA in my car. I have to make sure I have a productive drive.
Yeah. So you listen to our audio notes just over and over and over then?
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some point that I can follow whatever you say.
Yeah, you basically had it memorized. A lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then, so New Year, so I was really quite confident on the FAR, because I thought it was going to be hard, because there's a lot of it composed of 10 subjects, I think, 10 subjects. I didn't really read the whole book. I just focused on the topics that I wasn't really familiar with, like business combinations and leases, because those are the topics that I don't encounter most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I took it, and I had a simulation about cash flow, and I was, hey, I'm good at this. I always do this. I was so happy I had that simulation.
Yeah.
And then by January, I thought, I didn't remember when they're gonna release the score. And then one morning, I checked the schedule at the NASPA website, and they said, oh, they're going to release it today. And then, okay, I'm gonna check my score. And then, okay, I passed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then, yeah, and then one more subject to go, reg. And then my NTS will be expiring February, so I only have less than a month to study reg. But I tried to finish, because the tax regulations is different from in the Philippines and here. So that's really like fresh to me, like new to me.
Yeah.
So I tried to finish the book for tax. I didn't really read the law subject, because they're really similar from what we have studied. I just did like multiple choice practice in the law subject.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I wasn't really ready, but I said, I just have to take it, because you never know, I might pass or not. I wasn't really ready that time. So I took it, because NTA is going to expire anyway, so if I retake it, and I'll have to pay again. And then I didn't pass the reg. So I got 70. But I wasn't really feeling bad about it, because I know I just studied really short.
And that's still, I mean, that's really close to 70.
Yeah, I was surprised I got 70.
Yeah.
And then that day that I know that I didn't pass, I immediately applied for my exam. because I wanted to take it like within 2 weeks. So that was March. And then I had a lot of pressure on me because in the office, they're all waiting for my CPA thing.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to promote me. So all eyes are on me. And then they were also sad about me not passing my last subject. And then, but there's a funny thing about way back in December 31, I just took the FAR exam. I was driving back to the suburbs. And then there's a digital, like a billboard says, CPA. Oh my God, that's my side. I passed. I passed.
That's
That was
funny.
so funny. So going back, so my boss said, take my time. If I'm not ready, just take a little more time to study because I have an internal project at the firm about the training stuff, and I also have deadlines. So I have to keep it with all of those things. And then, okay, I'll take some time. I will study. So I just did the final review thing. There's a final review book. And then I also have this index card. For the 4 subject, I have index cards that I just use flash. And then, okay, by April, make it or break it, I have to take it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really 100% again. Oh my God, I'm back again taking the exam. I'm not 100%, but I have to take it. And then I went to Prometrics. Like, I want to make sure this will be my last time that I'll go here. I don't want to go back here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to, I'm more confident compared to the first one. So, but I wasn't really 100% that I'm going to pass, but I'm just going to do my best. And then at the end of the exam, so I did this thing that we have this superstition. You have to kick the chair. I just slightly kick it because I don't want to be looking weird. And then, okay, this will be my last exam. And then, so around May, so I was in the field work. I was in East St. Louis. I was at the hotel at night, and the NASBA, they tweeted that they're gonna release the scores tonight, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stay up until I see my score. And then it's already 12 midnight. I don't have my score. Okay, I'm gonna sleep. I couldn't sleep. This is the final one. I have to know whether I did it
I know,
or
it'd be
not.
hard, yeah.
And then I think I woke up around 6. The first thing I did, I went back to my laptop. I checked my score, and then I saw I finally passed my last exam. And then I was very emotional. I felt this sense of relief. Finally, I'm already done with this. And then the first thing I did is I texted the special persons that I wanted to inform, oh, I already passed my last exam. And I also informed the partners.
Yeah.
And then they were all happy about it. And because finally, this is the last thing that you need, and you'll get promoted.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so did you get promoted pretty much right away once you were done?
Yeah, a week after that, they talked to me and they said, okay, we're going to promote you to manager now.
That's awesome. So that's what I was going to ask. So you're a manager then?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a
Yeah,
huge
I'm
promotion.
already,
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm already doing the managerial role, just that I don't have the title.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And I also wanted to share, I had this business card with me. It says my name. And then while I was studying in reg, okay, I wrote down my name and then US CPA and then slash my position and I put manager. And then once I got my promotion, I posted like a comparison of my new card because they gave me right away my new business card saying manager, CPA manager, and next to that is the thing that I slash out, and that was like my manifestation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. So yeah, congrats on being done. Yeah, and that's a cool story. So when you would study, when you'd get up in the morning and study, what would you actually do? Did you have our pro course videos, like the strategy videos, or just the study tools on the app?
Oh, I just use the app, the multiple choice and the review notes here
Yeah.
that you can download.
Okay.
So I just focus on that.
Okay. So when you would sit down in the morning for your main study session with your review course, what would you actually do? You'd just watch the video lecture, go through the practice questions, just kind of do whatever the review course had you do?
It depends on the topic. So I mostly read it because I don't want to watch videos. I think I'm more faster when I'm reading it, and I could retain it more when I'm reading it.
So you'd read the text then, like the textbook?
Yeah, but not like per detailed.
Yeah.
Like most of just the topics that I know that I'm not familiar with.
Okay. So you would kind of just skip. So if you looked at a lesson title, like, I don't know,
Like cash, I would skip that.
okay, because you're like, I
Cash
know that
inventory,
inside
I
and
would.
out. There's no point in me reading this, or you would just skip sections. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and being at kind of the manager level, that makes sense. Like being in public accounting, you'd be very familiar with a bunch of parts of like the whole financial reporting process. So, and then you mentioned note cards. So you would make
Yeah.
like note,
Index card.
you mean flashcards, right? Just note cards, flashcards.
Yeah, I made I bought this index card, and then if like there's a keyword or like I want to illustrate because I'm a visual learner, like I like to illustrate things so I could be able to understand it more.
Gotcha.
And I use that like my final review. Okay, I want to see my index cards.
Yeah. And so for some things you would take notes on the cards or you'd put a definition. Sometimes you'd actually make like a drawing, it sounds like.
Yeah, drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
illustration.
Yeah, because that's what I tell people, to make flashcards for things that you struggle to understand. You sit there and kind of explain it back to yourself until you understand it, and then write it in your own words, whether that's like a drawing or just some little, whatever it is. You write out a paragraph or a little drawing. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so then I'm assuming you would just use those as part of your final review, just review all of your own note cards, right?
Yeah, so before my exam, so for example, my exam is in the afternoon. In the morning, I would scan my flashcards.
Yeah.
And then while driving to the Prometric Center, I would listen to the app again.
I see. Okay. Yeah, and so that's kind of just a perfect example. That's what our study tools are for. Like they're right on your phone in the app. They're short enough. So you would listen through the audio notes from start to finish just over and over again, right? Is that kind of how you would use it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the idea, that they're short enough that you can listen to the whole thing per section in like 3 or 4 days, maybe like an hour a day or a half hour a day. And it just kind of helps, listening to it over and over just kind of helps the content sink in from what you're doing in your main study sessions.
Yeah, like planting like a seed, and then you will, at some point, you will remember it. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what we tell people. And did you use our review notes? Would you read those, or did you mostly use the quizzes and the audios?
Just more of the quizzes and the audio.
Yeah. Yeah, different people just kind of use different study tools just depending on how they learn, I guess. And the audios are just, the audios are just so easy to use whenever you're in your car or when you're doing other things, you can put headphones on. It's just, and do other, like walking your dog. I don't know if you have a dog, or exercising or whatever. But yeah.
Mostly during my drive.
Yeah, just commuting time.
Yeah, and before I get to sleep, if I couldn't sleep, I check the app again, try to answer
Because it'll put you to sleep.
as many multiple.
Yeah, it's true. There's nothing more boring than, trying to look at CPA questions while you're trying to fall asleep. That'll put you to sleep fast. What about, I was going to ask you about your final review. So how long would you save for your final review? Like 2 weeks or so?
I was able to do the final review on the reg thing. When I did I work on the final review that I have. But I didn't for the other 3 subjects, okay, this will be no, I wasn't able to go back to the lessons. I just have this index card with me and then answer multiple choice as many as I could. I don't have a formal, okay, this is my final 2 weeks. Nope, I didn't have a chance.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of what. So from our free webinar, did you take the? We talk about the strategy of doing a daily set of 30 questions that's re-review. Did you do that through your process, or you would just go through the topics once, and then basically not really look at it again until test day, or how did you stay? How did you retain, or how did you work on your retention of all the topics you'd been through?
I just, when I'm done reading the topics that I need to read, and I just did a lot of MCQs, not so much about simulation. I'm more on, because when I did the simulation, okay, I try to do at least 2, and then try to more on understanding the concept.
Yeah.
And then lots of MCQ, lots of multiple choice.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, that's right. That's basically right from our strategies is, I think 80% of doing well in these is just getting really, really good at just doing a ton of MCQs. That's pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the concept, not memorizing it. Because I think one problem that I had, because I'm kind of perfectionist. That's the reason why I've been procrastinating the CPA, because I was trying to find the perfect situation for me. And then I realized I will never have that perfect situation.
Yeah.
So I just had to find my way in order to study. And then I had a boss. I asked him about, can you advise me on what to do, because I really need to do this CPA, but I'm also working long hours every day. And he just said, just don't overstudy.
Yeah.
Do not overstudy. And then, yeah, that's what I didn't overstudy.
Now, okay, so what you said, that's such a good, like a mental outlook is like the situation is never going to be perfect. Like no one is ever going to hand you, an uninterrupted 4 hours a day to study. Like life's going to go on. It's going to be busy. Things are going to happen. It's just never, like, situation's never going to be perfect. Yeah, that's just such a good,
Well,
I don't know. Everyone needs to hear that. No matter what goal you're working on,
yeah.
the situation is just never going to be perfect. You just have to start taking the steps, and like make time, like whatever it is you're working on. You just have to figure it out, right? That's like the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was afraid to fail. I think that's one reason also. But then I failed on reg, and I was surprised that not feeling so bad about it, because if I didn't change my mindset, I would be very depressed. Just having that one exam I failed, because way back in college I was very perfectionist. I always wanted to have perfect score, but that will not work on this current situation.
Yeah.
So I had to change my mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's always, I tell people that too. Like, listen, you could fail an exam, right? Like that's in the realm of possibilities. It's not that big of a deal. As long as you're putting in the time and always improving your process, if you fail a few sections, I mean, you will get there. It's not the biggest deal. But like you said, that stops a lot of people from even starting. Like thinking that I might,
that's true.
what if I fail an exam? Oh, that's going to be embarrassing, or, but really it just doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. I just realized it too late. But then I finally did it.
Yeah. I mean, so when you moved here, did you move over here by yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. What was the, like off the topic of CPA, but what did you think of the U.S. when you first moved here? Were there any culture shock things or things that surprised you that you didn't know about the U.S. before?
I actually watch a lot of Western movies, so that really helped me like set my mind on what to expect here. So I think the difficulty is more on the communication, because even we're using English at school, at work, but I think our English is too formal sometimes, and then at the same time I have a different accent.
That's funny.
And people here talk different.
Yeah.
So.
That's funny. Yeah, because a lot of times, like the Filipinos I've talked to, that's yes, you learn very formal English, and then you get here, and it's not like that at all. Like no one really speaks formally ever in America. Where in the Philippines are you from?
I actually grew up in Isabela, Philippines, but when I studied and worked at Manila, Philippines.
Okay. You're from Isabela, like on Negros Occidental?
The north. I know, Isabela, like on the north
Okay,
side.
okay. So the big
North
Isabela.
side.
Okay. Cause anyway, I've been to the Isabela that's like out in the middle of nowhere in
Oh wait, I think that's on the south part. I'm on the
Gotcha.
north side.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's probably several Isabelas, right? In the Philippines. I mean, there's like 200 islands, aren't there?
Isabela it's just one province. I don't think there's another Isabela
Not a
province.
province, but little towns.
But a town,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
But I'm not sure where.
Oh, I know there's one on next to Cebu, or not Cebu, Bacolod.
So did you like the Philippines?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the driving, the traffic, and basically no traffic laws. Driving was wild. Yeah, it was cool though.
So that's one main different thing about in the Philippines. Traffic is like it's almost normal, but here there's not much traffic. Just a little traffic, and everybody gets stressed. Like this is just normal to me.
Yeah, driving was just as soon as we left the airport, it was wild, but it was awesome. It's a cool place, super pretty. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's a paradise.
It is. Well, yeah. So I think we kind of went through everything with the CPA. So, the question I always end with? What would be your top 3 tips to people that are still working on their exams or they're still really struggling with the study process?
I think the first thing is to have the right mindset.
I agree.
You cannot control the external things, but what you control is your mind, yourself. Just have this right mindset. Not everything is going to be perfect. There's a lot of ways that you can do this. Just have to have the right mindset. And then, second, I think, is do not overstudy. Do not make it hard. Just focus on the topics that you're not really familiar with, especially for those people who are like me. They're already working and they're having a hard time finding enough time to study. Just don't study. And then The third is, I think you just have to find the right study habits, because we all have different learning style. It could be you're like doing the index cards or like doing a lot of MCQs. Yeah, just find the right study habit. And of course, try the SuperFast CPA. Really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I think the studying throughout the day on your phone just makes sense because everyone has a phone. You know, you look at your phone 100 times a day, and it's just, instead of having to find 4 hours a day to study if you're really busy, that's a lot of time to find in addition to your work day. So like a shorter session. Well, I didn't even ask you that. So you would study in the mornings. How long would you study? Would you just try to do 2 hours?
1 to 2 hours depends, because sometimes I just have to work ahead of time because I have so many stuff to do. But I try to make it at least 1 to 2 hours every morning. I'm the first one in the office, come in, and then while waiting for others and there's no distraction, I just try to study, focus.
Okay. So you would get up, travel to the office, listen to our audios on the way, and then do your actual kind of main studying at your office? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think on weekends I try to study, but I also want to have time to relax. So I don't really like full study at the weekends. I try to do some stuff, personal stuff, relax, chill some, just a little. Sometimes I have to work and then do a little study. So, but I did cancel a lot of events, like birthday thing. So I just stayed at home. If I don't study or work, I wanted to rest.
Yeah. No, and that is a huge thing, and that's another big benefit of studying in the morning, right? Because you study in the morning, you work all day, you do the mini sessions like with our study tools. So really you've done maybe 3 or 4 hours of studying, and then in the evenings you have time to kind of take a break or have downtime. Whereas if you just go straight to work and then try to study at night, your whole life is work and study, and you never have time to rest or do stuff you like doing.
Yeah, that really worked for me. And I'm now a morning person.
And before you weren't? Yeah.
Not really.
No, that's funny because a lot of people on these interviews say that. Through this process, they get converted to like being a morning person. Because they just see if you have something extra you're trying to work on, it's easier to do it in the morning because then you're not having to fight distractions all day. And then you're done. By the time you're done with work, you can still have evenings to like do stuff you like doing or just relax. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. Well, all right, Ivy, I'm glad you found us through that YouTube ad and that it helped a little bit, help you with the audios.
Yeah, I will. I'm recommending this to my other friends.
Awesome.
But I'm not sure if they bought it because they want to save money
right.
again.
I know. It's always that thing. Like, I think a lot of people think I'm not spending any extra money on these exams, but then a few months into it, people probably change their minds. Like, okay, this is not working, and I want to get these over with as soon as possible. But I would say if you do recommend it to people, give them the link to our to the free training, the free webinar, because that's kind of the best. It's free, and that's just an overview of how it's all supposed to work. Instead of telling someone, yeah, go buy this. Like, no one wants to hear that. I think the free training kind of makes it make sense, or they see how it would work. Plus, we just give a bunch of strategies on how to make your review course more effective anyways. So, well, yeah, I appreciate you doing the call. People find these really valuable. I'm glad you found us, glad it could help, and congrats on being done. That's awesome. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this, sharing my journey. I really hope that I could inspire other people, like going through the same struggle, working, and then have to study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's a huge accomplishment, and it's. All right, so that was the interview with Ivy. I'm sure you found that very helpful and informative. And if you did, please take a second to leave a rating and review in iTunes or wherever you listen to these podcasts, or like and subscribe the video on YouTube if you watch these on YouTube. And then also share the episode or the podcast in general with someone you know who's also working on their CPA exams, because these episodes, these interviews with successful CPA candidates and exactly how they pass their exams, these are the most helpful free resource available anywhere for someone that's trying to figure out this process on their own. So thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.